Okay. We are live. All right. Let's get started. So, yeah. So last time we were implementing this monster here, Bärling, which is not entirely done yet. So we made a bunch of stuff here. We made the functionality for spawning, idle, walk, attack, aggro, and also the root ability, which has some fixes left that we need to fix. Also, we got the death working. There are some stuff left to do here, so what I thought that I would work on is the variants now, which basically is that you have this 4 different variants. I'm gonna show you in. I'm gonna make these animations here. So here we have 4 different. Let's see. It's gonna be these 4 different like variants of the same sort of monster, and they're gonna have different animations. So all the ones that have 1 before them is gonna have all these animations is gonna have like specific versions for the different variants. And then well, I guess maybe death could be the same if we delete the first. Yeah. Well, I don't have a good like death animation for it. So I think, well, death is one that we probably could just have 1 death animation, also hit particles as well. But I'm just quickly gonna make these animations here. So I'll make the idle for 2. And this one is number 2 here. And then we have walk, which is these 2. Now let's see, the walk animation has different duration there. Okay, then we have a root. So I don't have graphics for this one, so I'm just gonna use this. Now let's look at this one. This has 4. Okay, so I need to change this. So it's gonna be this for the first one, and then these. That's the root. Okay, and then we have uproot, which is the same, except it goes up. And then death. Well, actually, you know what? I'll just do this. I'll have 1 death animation and I will delete the first one. So that's the death animation there. Okay, so that's for 2. Now let's make the other one. So we have. Oh wait, we also have attack. I forgot. Now we don't have attack. We don't have the graphics for the attack yet for this one. So I'm just gonna use. I'm just gonna make this. Like this, like I'm just gonna copy basically the first one, and then it goes back to this, and then we have the last frame is back to this guy. I guess it sort of works. It has like a different sort of these red pixels, which doesn't exist here, but okay, and then we have different, like this one is 5 times. Different timings. This one is also 5 times. Okay. Whoops, the wrong one. This one is 5 times. This one is 1. Hi, Palir7. Thank you. Have a nice day, you too. Thank you very much. Yeah, so we have idle walk, root, uproot, and attack. That's all. Okay, so let's make the third one. Let's have the same sort of. Uproot, and then attack is the last one. And so it's the second and the fourth one, which has different timing. There. And now the fourth, the last one here. And the last one, attack. No! It crashed, which means I have to redo it. Okay. Oh, it saved up to this point. Okay. Well, at least we had a good run going here, or a good tempo here, so it's gonna be this. This is 5 times. Okay, we'll save after each one. Okay, now it's number 3. It's this one. Man, that was a bit annoying, but yeah. Okay, and then uproot. And attack. I wonder why it crashed. Well, we're not gonna find out right now, but alright, so that's number 3. So now only 4 left. Alright. And which one? Root. And uproot. Okay. Okay, and then now the last one, attack. I was just trying to compare the two. So if I click here now, you can see the attack there, and the okay, so that crashes it, but now it's saved, so we should get back to where we were. Yeah. For some reason, I cannot click here. Interesting. Yeah. So all of these should be the same, except for the starting and end thing. Might be because I had something selected. Maybe if I do this. No. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, this all looks good now. So I really have to make a an update to my animation tool, but I'm gonna incorporate it into the main game editor. So that's gonna be interesting as well. But okay, so now we have animations for the variants, and now we can actually implement those. So what I'm thinking is, here is the struct for this guy, and I'm gonna have a thing here called variant. And what is a variant? A variant is going to be it's going to be a union enum. Okay, and then we're gonna have basically 4 different variants. So we're gonna have 1. They don't really have different names. I mean, I guess I could name them, but I don't feel that imaginative right now. So, well, this one is a variant. Wait. Yeah, they should all be the same sort of thing. So I'll just, for lack of a better term, I'm gonna use variant data here. And wait, but variant data is actually going to be static. So yeah, this is just going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it doesn't need to be an enum, or I mean a union. Okay, and then we have like the static of this, which is going to be 1 is going to be wait, this, yeah, this is variant data. Let's do this. We need a type for this. So what we're gonna have is we're gonna have like different animation names. So we're gonna have walk animation. We are going to have an idle animation. These keys here. Root animation. And uproot. And also attack animation. Oops. Okay. What else? Oh yeah, so we also need to have a spawn position, or like a spawn offset, which is where the position of the monster when it's spawning, because there are 4 monsters, all variants are spawned at the same time. So you have these 4 variants of 4 monsters spawning, and they spawn at different locations. So we're gonna have an offset from the center where they are gonna get spawned. So this will be a vector. Okay. And now here's the definitions for the different variants. So we'll have one, which is gonna be a variant data. Actually, we could do this. I do have a enum thing right somewhere. Enum to struct. So this one we can use to create this struct here. This is actually a perfect use case. So what this does is it takes this enum, which is the variant, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and it creates a struct type that has all the fields corresponding to the different enums, and then you can provide a type here, which is going to be the value type for each field, or for all fields are going to have the same value type. And for this one, it's going to be variant data, and then do we get the LSP for this? No, but we could do variant data like this and get LSP, right? No. Okay, whatever. Yes. So we're gonna need to basically populate all of these now. So we'll start here. This is going to be just one idle, one walk. This here. Check. And the offset, I don't know what the offset is going to be yet, so we'll just put 0 there for now. Okay. And now, yeah, so now, yeah, we have the variant. There. And now we need the variant. So here, when we initialize this entity, we need to actually, oh yeah, so we actually need to initialize all the entities here. We need to initialize all 4 entities, because this is happening, I think, no wait, wait, no. So we have one, okay, so the thing is, first, this guy is only one monster, which has sort of the, before it's spawned, basically. But then when it's spawned, when it plays the spawn animation, at the end of the spawn animation, it should spawn all these different monsters. Or maybe they do exist from the start, it's just that they are... Because what I'm thinking also is, like, should the player be able to attack them before, like, in the spawn state, like before it's... Okay, I'm gonna show you here what I'm talking about. So we have the spawn animation, which basically is the first you only see this plant, and you don't even know if it's a monster or not, because we have other places where we use this sort of as a tile, but they are not monsters, so it's kind of hidden. So you don't know if it's a monster until you approach it and it spawns into a monster. So it breaks up into a monster like this, and then you can see we get these 4 different variants spawning from this one plant. And here you see the animation here. So what I'm thinking is, like, should they be like should you be able to attack them as they are spawning, or I mean, it feels like you should be able to do that. I think you can do that with all others as well. Maybe it's gonna look a bit weird, maybe because they are spawning in different places, but so maybe there should be 4 different entities from the start, but then we show this spawn animation at one place. Yeah, so let's just do this 4 variants right from the start. Entity, and this is 1. And I think what we're gonna do is we could create like a list here. I'm just thinking if you're able to, yeah. So you just do an array here with 4 entities, like this. You say it's this type, and then you say undefined, and then you can do a loop from this to this, and you get index here, and then you can move this into here. The only thing now that we need is we need to have the variant. So I mean, we could just do switch. Like this. Okay. And then I'll just do a catch there. Okay, so it's basically each iteration here is gonna be a different variant. So first iteration will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's just a simple solution that I don't know if it's like a good solution, but comp time only. What is the issue here? Type of enum literal depends on. So you can't do this, or is it the else? What's the issue here? You should be able to do this, right? It's just like the difference. I mean, okay, let's try making it with an if, because that's, to me, that's basically the same thing. So if this is that, else if this is this, else unreachable. And we'll comment that out. Okay, so this is exactly the same issue here. What? Oh, this needs to be 3 also, and this needs to be 4. Why is it like the error is like all over there? Value with comp time only type. Is it because this is a type? So it can't... Okay, what if we say this is a variant? Okay, so that was the issue. It couldn't understand what the type would be, or there was some error with whatever type was inferred there. So that works. Okay. Alright. So now we don't have to copy this one like over and over. Did we rename the death animation? Just gonna double check here. Yes, we did. Okay. So we don't need to do this. Let's just remove that. Okay. Right, so now we do spawn these things. However, I think at the start we want to make these guys invisible. So we could just add invisible here. Wait, entity invisible, and we do get invisible from this guy. Yeah. So they are invisible, but they're not invincible. And what I'm thinking is we also add one more thing here, which is the spawn animation. So these guys will basically, they will be in a different state, I think, at the start. They will sort of be hidden. But once the player interacts with them, they're gonna spawn. And if the player attacks, the invisibility is gonna be gone. And I think the spawn animation will also like be interrupted as well. We could do that. Because now we have basically 4 different things at the same time. Okay, let's solve that later. So now we have 4 different monsters spawning, and we need to now go to, yeah, here's walk animation, for example. Now we can actually do this. So we say variants or variant data, and we need to do field tag name. I'm not sure if you can do this. I think you have to loop through all the different variations actually. So we probably want to do a get variation function for that. Let's do that here. So get variant, and this will return variant data. And so here we have to do inline 4 fields of wait, yes, the variant data. So this will be type of variant data, and here we get the field, and now we can say if, and we compare the strings, compare the name of the field to the tag name of our enum value. Oops. And if they match, that means we know what variant we have, so we can actually, maybe we can just save the data per whatever. But now this is going to be variant data. Now we can use this access here, so field.name, and we just say unreachable down here. So okay, so this is, we've gone through this a couple of times, but this is basically how you can access a field on a struct. So this variant data is a struct with these different fields. So I have 1, and we're gonna do 2, 3, and 4 as well. And what's happening here is we loop through all of those fields with this function from the meta standard library dot fields, and then we get the field here, and we match the field name with the variant that we have in our struct, and this variant is an enum, so we have to take, to get the name here, we have to take tag name, at tag name there. So we compare those, and then we can use at field to access the field that we want to have, because at field only it only can take a comp time field name here, so that's why we have to do this thing. And it also makes sense if you go through like the logic of actually trying to do this in runtime as well, in the way that SIG does it here. So yeah, so now we have a function that we can get our static data out from the whatever type of variant we have. So let's go back where we were. Where were we? Here? No. What did we do? Here, yeah. So now we can say get variant and then the walk animation. Okay. Here we also have idle, so we can say get variant and idle animation. Okay, do we have anything else? Here we have one attack, so and we actually it doesn't have self here, so we have to get that in there. So attack animation. Do you have one anything? So here we have root. And what I was contemplating on storing the variant data for in each monster instance is because now the trade-off here is either we store it in the monster, then it's going to be a fast lookup here, or now we have to like loop through all the fields every time we want to get the variant. And but it's, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but yeah, that's why I was thinking of that. Okay, and here we have the uproot. Animation, and we need self. Okay, and here you can see one positive thing of using enum to struct, which is basically the thing that we want to use this for is if you don't supply all the different enum fields that correspond to the enum values, then you get this error here. So we have to say 2 and we just replace these. Okay, and then we need 3 and 4. just using increment from Vim here. Okay, so that should be it for the animations. We have spawn offset as well that we need to define, but I don't have those coordinates yet. But okay, so now we should have 4. Yeah, if we look at where we have this now, so we don't have any of these left. So this means that now we should have 4 different variants that are gonna show different graphics. So if we try to start this now, and we just have to wait for a compilation here. Okay, wait, I removed the monster. Okay, so I have to go to the editor and add it back. Not sure why I did that. Where are we? Here. So let's just add this guy over here. I'll just remove the other monster here. Okay. Alright, I think we crashed. Let's go in here and see what's happening. I don't see... Okay, yeah, so they are invisible. And we do get a crash. Get animation. So there's some animation. Oh yeah. I need to import the animations. Maybe that was the issue. Oh yeah, so they are invisible. Let's remove that for now, and we should be able to see them. There's gonna be 4 of them though, but let's see. There you see. And yeah, we have these different variants, but they are... Let's actually turn off the burrow thing. Or maybe, yeah, I'll try and not aggro them, just spawning them. Yeah. Okay, so they are still like... Oh, I see. So they are actually burrowing even though they're not aggroed. So I think... Where do we have that? I think we need to actually have the monster AI here as well. Let's add this, and then we need to check if they are aggro. Is hunting player. So they have to have this on if they are gonna like hunt you with this burrow ability. Yeah, that makes sense. And now we also need self here. We don't need this to be mutable. And let's check it now. Trigger the spawn, and then they will sort of randomly move around. So there you can see we have our 4 different like variations there. It looks a bit weird sometimes how they are. Yeah, the walk animation looks very strange. Okay, now this guy is hunting me here. Yeah, I just need to BRB for a second here, so I'll be right back. And I'm back. Okay. So now, okay. So now we have these 4 different variants. Now is the problem with, well, for one, I want to spawn them in these different positions. So let's solve that issue right away. And it's going to be an init entity. So, I mean, it's quite easy actually. The position, we can just do plus. Yeah, and now we can actually use this function here. So we have the variant. Well, now it's going to be called differently here, but so this is the variant sort of thing there, but then okay, I'm just gonna call it this, whatever, or this. So it's gonna be, oh yeah, get variant data. I guess this could have like a, I guess actually what we could do is we could actually create a type here which has a declaration that is like a function here. So we could add a function. So this would be declaration. Is that something we can do? Name. So we'll have a function here called I think you can do it like this anyway. We'll see. So a function called from tag, maybe, and wait, is that it? This data structure. Wait, it's a type. Okay, let's go to field. No. Struct declarations. Yeah, it's just this. So where's the information about this declaration though? Okay, I'm gonna look this up here real quick. Sig declaration of time generated type struct. This is not possible. Well, that was 3 years ago. Declaration slice is non-empty. It seems like it's not actually implemented. So you can't actually add functions like this. I was really thinking that you could. That's strange to me. But they usually have a lot of good discussions about this. So Andrew, which is sort of, I think is the inventor of Sig, says, I intentionally made this not possible because this kind of functionality tends to be abused and is generally not needed to solve the problem. Okay. And personally never want to have to read any Zig code that creates declarations in compile time logic. Okay. I don't want to have to implement such features in the compiler, and I don't want to toil through codifying such behavior into language specification. That is, I mean, interesting to me, because it's like you get this toy, sort of, almost, the comp time stuff, but then it's not like fully realized. It feels like when you can't do this. Why is this even here in that case? I mean, okay, it's just the implementation detail, but okay. Right, one way to get around this is using namespace. No, that doesn't work. Wait, could you have using namespace and then a comp time, like a, okay, let's try this. What I'm thinking is, if we do, okay, so I'm gonna try this. So this one is, well, you have to do it here, I think. Using namespace. Wait, no, I have to do a struct first. Okay, I'm just gonna do this type here. So, to explain what I'm thinking here, so if we do this and we save, and what's the issue here? Oh yeah. Let's just reverse this for now. Okay, so now we actually don't get the same thing, because I was thinking that this would trigger. Wait, no, because this is a type. That's right. So if we now do this, will this generate the errors? No. Okay, so that's not Well, does it get the fields though? Wait. Do we get the fields? There's no errors. Okay, let's say this. So this doesn't work. Is it just for the declarations then, using namespace? Oh, it looks like someone wants to remove it, but it's... Right. Okay, I'm not sure if using namespace is gonna live through... Okay, I'm not gonna worry about this. I think this is just for declarations and not for that, so we can still use this then. Okay, but now it's just like I want to have functions for this now as well. And what I'm thinking is, I mean, if SIG would allow stuff like this, you have a function. Oh yeah, because we need the com time values as well. I mean, it would be nice instead of making the type like this, if you could add the fields, like if you could merge structs, you would define a struct here like this, so you would have decoration struct here, and then you can sort of merge them together. I don't know, man. I don't think it's possible. So let's forget about it. What we could do is we could have a function here, which is like, I mean, what I wanted to have was this from tag, and then we get the tag, which is, well, we need a com time t, and then we return the value. And also the self is gonna be enum to struct tv. Yeah, and of course they don't exist, so. But this was sort of what I wanted to do, except I wanted to be in this type here. But I guess that is impossible to do. So you would have to actually do this, and then say, and then do the same thing that we're doing here for get variant. Except now this is self, and this is tag. I guess what we also could do, tag. No. You would have to compare the name here, yeah. I think you can, because what I was thinking is, I mean, another way to do this is not have fields. Instead you have like a hash map from this enum type to where the key is the enum and the value is the value type. So I think that's more efficient in a lot of ways. This, however, gives you compile time errors. I guess you could sort of make compile time errors for the other thing as well, though. So now we can use from tag. But now we have to like specify this. Wait, but if we could do this actually. We could do this, and then this is any type. But then we don't know what the return type is. Except we can calculate the type. So we could do yeah, we could just say type info, type of self, and then we know it's an enum thing, so this is going to be a struct, and then we can just grab one of the fields. So this, yeah, we just kind of assert that we have more than one enum value thing here, and then let's see, and then I think it's just type there. So, and then we also have to break here. Actually, I wonder if you can have this as an expression or like this. And then this guy, the tag is gonna be tag what is this? Okay, so it has to be a union, so enum. Field enum of type of self and then the no. Yeah. Okay. Well, that works. And now, well, I mean, I guess it would work. Yeah, so now this is gonna be variant right. So this is the variant data. So yeah, okay. This is where we get these weird errors now. So this wants to be, yeah, this is not the correct thing. Yeah, because we don't save the enum type anywhere here. We're just using it to create things. So we can't, I don't think we actually can do anything here like this. I mean, we can, but then we would have to sort of convert this value here. So this could also be any type. But then we sort of lose a whole bunch of. So it works now because the compiler is gonna know the result of this function here, but when we use this function, we're gonna have like zero insight into what's happening type-wise. Like the LSP doesn't know in this case. I mean, the compiler says it works, so it works, but it's like, it's horrible to look at, and it's you don't get any help, so you have to know. Yeah. Yeah. The more I think about this, the more I don't really like this thing now. I think it's nice that you get the comp times stuff here. If we remove one, then it's gonna complain that one doesn't exist. But I think you can do the same thing using some sort of hash map. Actually, yeah, I mean, you should be able to do the same thing and then have a even more efficient way of looking things up, and with a hash map instead. Okay, but anyway, that's like not really, for this case, it's probably not really that big of a deal. However, if you want to have a more generalized version of that, you could do that, I think. Okay, but anyway, here we want to do, well, here we can actually do from tag now, and the tag is going to be the variant. Okay, we don't know what this is. Well, the LSP doesn't know, but we do know what it's going to be. I'm just going to call this, I really hate this underscore here, but whatever. And this is going to be now variant data plus, or it's going to be the spawn offset. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we should have that. However, we don't really have defined these spawn offsets, so I'm just gonna wing it for the first time. I could count sort of the pixels here though. It's gonna be where they sort of end up at the end. So I'm gonna okay. So the first one is 4 pixels, no, 5. Wait. Five, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 so it's 4 pixels from the left, and it's 32, 16. 4 from the left, so it's 16, so it's 12 from the center then. So it's gonna be only x negative 12, and then the other one is 1, 2, 3, 5 to the right of that. So we add 5, and then we have this one, which is, well, the last one is 5 from the right now, or is it 6 from the right? Wait, yeah, it's 6 from the right. So it's gonna be 32 minus 6. Well, actually no, 6. no wait. It's 16 and then no. Yeah, 16 minus 6, so 10. And then next one is 1, 2, 3 to the left of that. Actually, this one is 10 and then this one is 3 minus that. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so now we should see them at the different locations at the start. There you can see them there. Okay. And the thing is now, so now we have them at different locations. However, they are actually, so where do we have the spawn thing? The spawn animation. Right, so we are setting the animation to spawn at the start. We're not gonna do that. What we are gonna do, we're gonna get the animation. And we're gonna set this to idle. Oh wait. Variant data idle animation. Okay. And now if we start, we should see them all at their idle animation. Yeah. Okay. And then these guys are actually not gonna trigger the spawn animation. We're gonna have one more entity. However, the entity. So my idea is that we have these 4 things spawned at the first, and then they're gonna be invisible. And once you hit them or the spawn animation is done, then we actually remove invisible from them. However, that also means we need to like connect them with that monster somehow as well. We could have we could just do a component that does something after it's spawned. I'm starting to think about these interesting sort of higher order components. But the issue with those is that you can't really store types in that way in the ECS system. Okay, anyway, I'm just thinking of how to solve this issue here. I mean, we could just make it so they're invincible until they're spawned as well. Because then we don't really need to create them at the start. We could create them after the spawn is complete, the animation is complete. And another thing we could do is, let's say we spawn them after the spawn animation is complete, but if the player comes up and hits it first, while the spawn animation is playing, let's say, then we could spawn them instantly and reduce their health by 1. We could do that also. I'm gonna have spawn variants. And we're gonna have like a spawn reason, maybe. So that's gonna be something that is like from here. Spawn reason. And it's gonna be like duration ended, which is like the spawn animation is complete. Or we're gonna say player hit so the player hit the monster, that's spawn. I guess this should be end spawn reason. Okay. So now we can let's do all this here. Actually, we don't. I mean, we don't need to create an array here. We just need to actually do this. Yeah. But we're gonna do. Yeah. I don't know why I thought we needed the array there. Okay, and we need the registry. And I think upon spawning the variants, we're also gonna destroy this entity. So we actually need the entity here as well. We're gonna destroy it in the end here. Destroy entity. We don't need invisible now. Oh, and this is like variant entity. So there. Animations. Yeah, let's grab that there. Okay. What else? Variant data position. So the position we can just do get rigid body from entity, and then the position is gonna be the, I think, center. Yeah. And draw layer. Oh. Well, that's gonna be an issue. Well, it's gonna be the same draw layer as the thing. So let's just do that. Let's just get draw layer component or whatever. Yeah, because there is such a thing, I believe. Draw layer component, yes. From entity. And then this is gonna be that. Oh, T we could actually get here. There we go. Okay, so yeah, I don't think we need the U. All right, so now we could do this. Now we don't need to do 4 different things here. We don't need a variant. We don't need a variant data. Well, the variant, since we need one, I'm just gonna pick one there. We don't have invisible. We don't want to set the animation. Death settings, we don't have that. Okay, let's remove that. The position is gonna be in the center. So that's gonna be just position there. And we don't need to keep track of this entity now. So there we go. I guess we could have a variant which is gonna be sort of the spawner. Which does not have any of these things. But I'm just gonna define that anyway. And so this one is gonna be the spawner. So the spawner variant is gonna be special then. Okay. Right. And now we can say if the reason for spawning was that the player hit the thing, we want to get the health component from this entity. And we want to damage this guy, or... Well, yeah, we just want to hurt. And I guess the damage here is... How... Yeah. Get damage from some source of truth. Okay. Right. So now we're spawning them, and if the reason for spawning was that the player hit it, then we damage them all by 1. And then, but if it wasn't, then they're just gonna spawn normally. Wait, why are we setting this to false? Oh, because of the... Okay, so we copied this from the other thing, which actually needs it to be false. So let's just remove that. Yeah, we don't need to worry about that. Okay. Okay, so now we only have one entity, which is the spawner variant. So if we start this now, we should only see the first version there, which is the plant. We go to, yeah, and then it spawns like it did first. But now we want to do some special things when it's spawning. So we have to go to this place. Here we're setting the state to spawning, and here we're checking for the end of spawn. So this is like, we need a special case here for this monster. So we're gonna check for the type of monster, and this is this guy. Otherwise, we don't have a special case. Well, otherwise we do the normal case here. But if it's this guy, then we want to do some special case here. So if it ends, so now the reason for spawning is gonna be that the duration ended. And I think we do need this guy. And now we can say spawn variance. And the reason is duration ended. Okay. So now this should actually work, I think. If we start... Oh yeah, and we also want to destroy this monster. Oh yeah, we are doing it in the... We are doing it that. So if we look at the spawn now, at the end of the spawn animation, it should just... Yeah, it creates the different variants. Why are they not moving? Oh. Okay. Yeah, it crashed. Can you exit, please? Okay, there we go. Okay, so they are all spawning in. So the their state is actually like in the yeah, in the spawn state. So we need to set the state to yeah, we just need to do a set idle here. There we go. Okay, now they're moving around there. Okay, cool. So they're spawning. Oh yeah. So they're all, if you notice, they are sort of turning around as they spawn, and that's because the two left ones are gonna have face left, and the two right ones gonna face right. So we're gonna say if actually we can do a switch on variant. If it's 1 or 2, else we don't do anything. So if it's 1 or 2, we want to turn them around. So then we're gonna get the direction component. And then we want to say set to opposite. Alright. So now they should turn around. Or, yeah, spawn at the correct sort of orientation. Well, they immediately, you know, sort of move around, but it works. Yeah. Let's just double check here. Is the position exactly correct? It looks like they are sort of... Okay, let's do this. Let's do set idle. Let's do let's say that they are always idle, and we can see if they have like the correct position when they spawn. So it doesn't look like they are the correct variants. Yeah, it looks like the variants are kind of messed up a little bit. Is it like turned around? Okay, I think what we need to do is the first monster, the spawner, needs to be turned around, I think. I think that's the issue here. So we'll copy this and we'll go here, and we need to view entity there. And so we'll turn this guy around, which is gonna be a bit strange because I think that's different from the actual tile map Maybe, we'll see. Okay, there you can see that it actually works there. However, they are blinking like... Oh, also like... So the third and the fourth variant are sort of switching places. Okay. Did I mess something up, or is it just that the... I mean, I guess we could just switch out the positions here. Yeah, and we could switch out the positions for the animation there as well, if the tile set is different. So we'll just switch out these positions here. Maybe I was thinking like the other way around there. We'll see. So now they should have all the correct positions, I think. Yeah, except the right ones are like a one-off error there, I think. Yeah. So we'll just increase them by 1. Okay, there we go. So the only thing now is... Well, I don't see the blink anymore. Yeah, you do have a little blink there. Also, I got aggro. There's a little blink there. So why is that? It's like we're destroying and creating them at the same time. But there's a little bit of gap there. So this should happen if we go to the game update function. This should happen at the Monster AI system update. I don't understand why it's blinking like that though. They should be created and then that one should be destroyed. And we're gonna, yeah, and after the update we're drawing, so I don't know why it would blink actually. Or is it just my imagination? Okay. Well, I don't see the blink anymore. Okay. So okay, cool. So we got the different variants sort of working now. I'm just gonna double check if the tile is like different. So you have the red thing at the left. No, this is actually how the tile looks. And we can prove it by actually just adding a bunch of... We should probably have like... If we go here and we just add some of these guys. Oops, let's add it. Let's add it to the background. Yeah. If we do that, and then we go back here, and then there you can see we have to like line it up like that maybe. All right. Yeah, so now you can see the tiles. So this one is the same as this, but it's different. It's a monster instead. So, oh, they spawned. They immediately like burrow. So yeah, let's see. Let's go back here. So what I want to do now is I want to fix sort of the burrow stuff. Let's see. We have. So we do have the variants now, which is nice. And well, we don't have the graphics, I guess, for the variants, but we have the variants. Stone variants. Okay. So yeah. I want to fix the particle animations for the root ability because they are happening all over the place. I think that's just a matter of changing the origin of the animation though. So let's do that. We have the root. I think so anyway. I mean, it should actually be at the same level. Because they are all the same, like 32 by 32, so maybe the spawn position is wrong. Where did we have that spawn? Wait. Particles? Oh, that's the wrong project. Particles here. So we're using this function to spawn like just a sort of graphical effect that has the same sort of position and size as the monster itself. So it will be sort of shown at the monster itself. So we're using the position at the center here. So shouldn't that be correct? Or is that not actually the position? Maybe not. I'm just trying to think what the position would. Oh yeah, wait. It should be this. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah, now you can see. No? Why is that happening? Place. Let's see. Okay, sorry, I was distracted here. Okay, it looks like we'll actually be able to continue for a while more here. Anyway, let's see. So, I mean, it looked like some of the animations was actually correct there. Like the initial burrow particle. Okay. Yeah, you can see when they uproot, it's like the totally wrong position. Let's see where the collision boxes are. So so they all kind of spawning below the thing. Is it this one that is actually spawned there, or is it? Wait, I'm gonna double check something here, because I don't remember if we actually have to put them in like a collision group or not. So let's I mean, I don't think so, because then the player would also be... Well, actually the player is... Okay. Let me double check this here. So we have these collision groups, and we're using them to determine if we want to resolve the collision for, like, if two, let's say two bodies are colliding and they should be like pushing on each other. That's what this is for. So this is for determining if they should push on each other, which is usually now only for if you're colliding with the ground. So I just want to check here. Yeah, so we're only resolving if this returns true. And if let's see, so if they don't find any matching, then it's false, so they should not push on each other. If they don't belong to a group, they shouldn't push on each other. I mean, also this is static, so actually it doesn't really matter. But why is it spawned like below ground? I don't understand that. This one actually seems to work. The burrow version seems to work. Let's see if we disable this and we enable the collision boxes, and we can see when they actually get out of the burrow thing, will they end up... Yeah, they're sort of, some of them ends up like in the ground. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. But they are actually, they are sort of... Okay. Enable this. Make them burrow. So they are sort of below the ground and they get pushed up. I think that's the issue here. So this new position here is bad. The new position is like in the ground. Okay. So how we calculate this is we look at the player body, and we're looking at this ABB is like the collision hitbox of the player body, and we're looking at the bottom center of that, so we get that position. So it's like at the center of the feet of the player. And then we add this offset, which is like either to the left or right of that. And then we move it up according to half of the height of the monster, or yeah, so that they should end up or the center, the position, like, oh yeah, but then we need to wait, let me check something here. We have update transform. We are adding our position, yes. So this is where we sort of calculate this boundary box here, which is in the world coordinates. And so we calculate it. Well, yeah, rotation is always going to be like 0. And then we have the shape, which is a rectangle. And then we have these vertices. And the vertices are they're like this. So you have top left is like half the size and bottom right is half size. So center is the origin, 0, 0 of the rectangle. Okay, so where does that land us now? That means that the ABB here is gonna be top left is half size top left, bottom right is half size bottom right. Okay. And then we scale it by the scale of this, which I think is always 1 now. And then we add the position. So this makes it to be world coordinates. Do we have to update transform here somewhere? I mean, we are doing it there. So this new position is, I mean, that means that the position of the body is the center of the ABB, which was what I was thinking from the first get-go. But then it's like it's not actually the center always. Though there could be like an offset somewhere, I think. Like, where was that? The rectangle. Did we have an offset here? So we do have an offset. Right. So we should look at the offset there. Okay, okay. Oops. So we should. I mean, let's just try this, I guess. I think it's like the shape. And then the... It's gonna be a rectangle, so I'm just gonna put that there right now. And then the offset. So I'm gonna try this. But because they might have an offset. I'm not sure if they actually have an offset here. If this doesn't work, then I don't really know what's going on, actually. Okay, it looks like it might work. I'm just gonna check this offset here, because it's strange to me that this would actually be a weird offset in this. Where do we do it? Where's the hitbox? Like, yeah, we're getting the hitbox and then the offset is like the center. This is wrong, I think. Yeah, it's the offset shouldn't be the center. Well, unless the center is always like 0. But yeah, so we do have a hitbox for all monsters. And here's like the, oh yeah, so we do have a little bit of offset here, I think. Okay, so we have the it's a bit yeah, there's a lot of different like coordinates and things happening here, but okay, so now we account for the offset. Should we do that in spawn as well? The spawn, maybe that's why we get some weird things sometimes. Spawn particles. Yeah, the position here. No, but now we clone the position, so this should be the same position. Yeah, that's true. Okay, cool. Alright, anyway. Where were we? Over here. Well, no. No, it's the up route. There. So let's get this back now. Okay, I think now the new position is correct. So let's try it. And you can see the particles are falling in the correct place now. Okay, cool. I'm glad that it worked. Okay. Cool. I mean, they are sort of hard to see. They kind of blend in very well with the environment. They should also be like invincible. I think they should be like... let's see here. They burrow. Now we shouldn't be able to hit them. Once they are sort of in the ground, you shouldn't be able to hit them. I think you should be able to hit them while they are... while the animation is playing, but not while they are actually burrowed. So this one is works. We don't have this one here. But we did solve this issue here, so the animations are fixed, and I think we also fixed... Let's double check here. There's another monster which relied on sort of the same function here, spawn particles. Not this one, this guy. So when you hit this guy, you can see now the particles are spawned in the center. They didn't do that before, so we actually fixed that issue as well. So let's... yeah, this one is done. Nice. Okay. Now, what's left on the monster? So, I want to make the monster, well, yeah, as I said, invincible when it's actually burrowed and the animation is done. So how do we do that? So the state of the monster is going to be this burrow attack, and then we want to say when the animation is done, it's actually gonna be invincible. I mean, it's easy to say during the entire burrow animation is gonna be invincible, right? With the thing we have right now, we can just say execute attack, we can say that it's invincible, and then at the end of the attack we can say it's actually this plays the uproot animation, so we should just be able to do. Okay, maybe it's invincible while it's burrowing because that's the easiest thing to do here now. Maybe the attack type does need to have some sort of special timer. In that case, we could add a special timer to the burrow type. So, wait, attack. These names are getting kind of ridiculous here, but and then we want to say burrowed at. That's the timestamp, so that lets us know when is the thing burrowed. Okay, and now we need to actually create this now, so burrowed at needs to be t plus some sort of thing. So this is gonna be burrow, well, this is gonna be the animation duration. Do we have entity here? No. Okay. We need entity. Wait, why do we need entity now? I mean, yeah, we need entity because we need to get the correct animations. Okay, and then this is gonna be root. And then this is total duration. Oh, we don't have registry either. There. And let's add that. Wait, we don't have entity here. There we go. Okay. Now we are initializing the burrow timer here. So we know that at the end of this timer we are actually burrowed. And then we are going to... It's kind of weird that this function, which is should attack, which is determining, well, it determines if we're gonna attack and which type of attack we're gonna do. So maybe we should like rename this function, but yeah, whatever. So because now we're like initializing some sort of data here, which maybe it's better for that data to be initialized somewhere else. But anyway, now we have to go, I think, here, and we have to go to whatever our state checks are, timer checks things. So here in update, we have all these different things. So this is gonna be an attack update. And here we have a bunch of, this is kind of messy here. But we're checking for different types of attack. This is throw attack. Here we have, and here we have some, this sort of generic thing, which checks if it should end the attack. So yeah, we need to add a special case for this a type of attack here. So if the attack type is burrow, we should really have like an update that is specific for the monster maybe instead. But anyway, if the attack type is burrow, this should be like this, okay. And now we can access this, and the burrowed at is less than or t. Then the timer is up, so we should add invincible here. Add or replace, because we don't want to crash if it already exists. To entity, we want to do invincible, which does not end, so we need to do this. Okay, so now we're adding invincible when the burrow animation is complete. So while they're underground, they should be invincible. Now we can go, we want to remove this once they want to uproot. So here we play the uproot animation, which is the perfect time to actually remove this invincibility. So let's do that. Let's do remove if exists. And now you have to say invincible first. And then entity, we need to import invincible. Okay. Now, okay, so now they should be invincible once they burrow, or once the burrow animation is complete. Where did I go? Why are they not uprooting? Okay, so I think there might be an issue here now. Oh, I see. So it always goes into this if statement now. So how would we do this? I mean, we could add a thing here. I mean, an easy fix would be to just add a bool which says has burrowed, and then we set that to false, and we check here if it hasn't burrowed, then we do this. And we can set this to true now. And its attack is mutable, so that's fine. So next time it has already burrowed, and then we can check for the end of the attack as well. And now we can say add here because we're not calling this multiple times. And here we can say remove as well, because it should always be in that configuration. Okay, let's try this now. There we go. Okay, I think we need to change the hitbox a little bit. If you look at how the size of the monsters and their actual hitbox here, they are way wider than their actual hitbox. So let's go to the hitbox definition here. So we need to, I need to figure out what to do here. So I guess this is fine. Wait, it might not actually be fine though. I think we need to increase this a little bit. Let's try 12. And then the height is like 16 is way too much. I think it's more like 8. And the width is more like 4 or 5 or something. Let's do, I guess, 4. That would cover sort of the legs when they're wide. Let's try that. Oh. Wait. What happened there? Okay. Interesting. When we spawn them, it looks like we're spawning them down. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we have the same kind of issue with the particles. So the position, we need to account for the offset. I may make a convenience function for this though, since it shows up. Yeah, we don't really have like a good way of getting the offset here either, so but we're just gonna hard code this in for now. Definitely should make that more. Okay, there we go. Okay, but now they're spawning kind of close and I can't hit them because they're so small. So I guess we'll make them a little bit higher. Let's enable the player attack hitbox here. Or the attack hit, this is actually enabling for monsters as well. But let's do like combat hitbox. I guess combat hitbox. Hello, Gunboat Diplomat. How are we finding Zig for Gamedev? I mean, Gamedev is kind of new to me, so I haven't really done sort of like a large project yet. This is sort of my first large project for game development. It's so just take my opinion here kind of lightly, but it's I enjoy it. So my background is mostly like programming, like a web development, and I've before that I was also like self-taught in like programming. So my passion is really like programming in general, and game development has always been like a goal for me. So now I'm starting that. But Sig is kind of, you know, it's new. It's sort of groundbreaking, I would say, in a way, with the comp time stuff and the way that they sort of, I guess, take this old type of language like C and make it into something that is fun to use, I guess. I haven't actually programmed in C, so I can't really speak to that, but I mean, I'm just looking at some of the like the code and the tools and stuff, and I was self-taught in C++ like many years ago, but it was actually my first language, and I've been like having those crashes from segment faults is traumatizing. But Odin comps time stuff, yeah, looks interesting. Yeah, I would like to try Odin as well. I know it's also like very good for game development, so I'm assuming, I don't know actually, Odin, I'm assuming Odin also is like fully memory managed, or manually memory managed as well. Wait. Oh yeah, so what's... oh. Wait. Oh, this looks like some bad... where search and replace happened here. What's this now? Nullable? Oh, this is... right. Okay, let's just do... so either this is null or this is true. Now we're just gonna assume that this exists. Okay. I like Odin, it's better, less annoying. Yeah, I really love that they are coming up with these new languages that is really fun to use. So that's why I like programming with SIG. It's like sometimes it feels like you're jumping through hurdles to get something done, but in the long run I've actually felt like it's such a fun experience, because you get in many cases you have like new experiences that you haven't had in other programming languages. So that's why I really like it, because it's like, it sort of feels like exploring a new area in programming. I mean, it's not only comp time, it's also you know, they switch things and the capture stuff, and it's just I don't know, it just feels nice to work with, and it, for me, I think it fits very well with actually like game development. So I mean, I'm not doing anything super fancy here, it's just very, I mean, a simple like 2D platformer, but I mean, it should work for like more intensive, sort of resource intensive games as well. Hey, yo, Vadim. Morning. Yeah, I think it's really fun to explore the language, and it takes also time to sort of get used to the different things and explore what works and what doesn't work, and it's gonna take time to find, like, settle in some sort of... I mean, when I program, I never actually... It feels like I'm always trying new things and always, you know, exploring and trying different patterns and see what works and what doesn't. That's what I kind of think is fun also. So about Odin, what is sort of the, like, what sets it apart from C? Is like, what is like what are some of the best features that it has that sort of makes it more easy to work with? I mean, maybe that's a really hard question, but Okay, so now this works. Or there's no compiler errors there. Okay, I'm just gonna check the hitbox here. So you can see this is the attack hitbox. If we enable, they're actually just below that, so I can actually hit these guys. So I have to, I think I just increase the height a little bit on them. 8, so let's do, I guess, 12. Okay, now we can hit them at least. So now what I want to do is I want to what was it? I want to take a sip of coffee and oh yeah, when they uproot, I want to have them move a little bit further, so it's not going to depend on, I guess, their width. Well, maybe that's what would be the correct solution here? Oh yeah, another thing I noticed was that the attack hitbox is scaled with sort of the monster body, which is not appropriate for this monster either. So we should probably, yeah, we should add that to the to-do. Let's, I guess we can add it here. So the attack, we need to generalize the attack hitbox for different types of monsters. Okay. But what will this be? This would be let's do like this times 2, I guess. Yeah. They really want to burrow. I think, did I set that to like always happen? Okay, I think, I mean, they are spawning kind of close, but I guess that's fine. They are not like colliding with the player, at least. Although they will collide if you're walking towards them, I guess. Are they gonna hurt once they are... Oh yeah, that's also one thing. Are they damaged on touch? Once they are burrow. Okay, yeah, so we are disabling it during the burrow. That's nice. Okay, cool. That's the great thing about Odin. It doesn't have any features that sets it apart. Okay, it just does all the normal stuff you want to in very easy, sensible ways. Like all the loops are for loops. You can set type. You can set a type with colon equals. I don't know what that means. With Odin, it's less about. Or do you mean like a type alias or something like that? With Odin, it's less about what it has and more about what it doesn't have. Right. There's normally just like one good way of doing something, rather than half a dozen annoying ways like C++. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, I feel that SIG is sort of the same, although I would say. Oh, I see. So it's like so you don't have to specify the type if you do that. So sort of like auto in C++, or yeah, inferring the type. Right. And then is it like a polymorphic float that you can use? Like if you use it with a 32-bit or a 64-bit, is it gonna like coerce into one of those? Or I mean type coerce. Maybe. Well, anyway, yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I like that. Would still be a float, yeah. Yeah, I feel like SIG is also the same sort of what do you say, mantra or philosophy with the design, the language design. Is like there shouldn't be too many ways of doing a thing, which I think is very good because it forces you into a pattern, and when you look at source code you don't see this whole bunch of different ways that you have to like learn the mind of one person all the time. But I will say, however, the comp time stuff can get very complicated, and that the comp time stuff you can do a lot of cool things, but it also opens a lot of stuff that you could do with that. So it's like it has sort of both things. It has sort of the very good way of doing things normally, and then you can also use comp time, which is very nice, but it's a very nice tool to have, but sometimes it can get very complicated. That's where you can find these very complex things that you can do whatever you want almost. Yeah, when you work with someone else, it's not totally different. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say as well. It's like you look at code in C++ and it's probably like, I don't know. I mean, of course, in C++, it's like there are, as I understand it, there are certain groups of people that swears to use different or this pattern when you want to do this thing, and that pattern when you do want to do that thing, and then there's because there's so many different ways of doing things. It's like you have these islands of people that cannot agree, I guess. I mean, I'm not that I'm not an expert in this, but at least that's the impression that I have from looking at some talks and stuff from like that kind of world, the C++ conferences and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's not I mean, I would say like this. I don't like pitting different languages against each other. That's not my kind of thing. I want to think of the different languages as a tool to use, and I mean, of course, there's pros and cons, and if you want to work together with other people, that's a different thing. But I think almost like everywhere you go, people are gonna do things differently from other places. So if you're joining a company or whatever, you're gonna have to learn how they do it, because it's gonna be different from everywhere else. So, but if you're working with your own code and stuff, I think I'm seeing the language as a tool, and whatever works for you works. So yeah. I don't like pitting languages against each other, because that feels like it's so subjective. It's like, yeah, what works for you might not work for someone else, and vice versa. So But it works very well for me, I would think. I really like exploring this language and using it. And sometimes I felt like, oh, I wanna like sort of implement, because sometimes I feel like doing something functional, like passing functions around and stuff. In SIG, you can do that, but it's a bit more cumbersome. So I've actually gone against doing that, instead choosing more like imperative ways of doing things. But I feel like in languages where they sort of encourage you to use functions and pass functions around, you do stuff more functionally sometimes when it feels convenient. But in SIG, it's like it's not convenient at all. You can actually do lambdas in SIG, sort of. But it looks very bad. And I have seen it being done in the standard library as well. Don't use a hacksaw when you need a scalpel, yeah. So that's kind of also a philosophy which is good to have, I think. It's like use the correct tool for the correct thing. However, there's also like, cost of everything that you have to sort of calculate into the thing. So it's like if you're used to doing things one way and that's the fastest for you, then you should probably, there's no wrong and right is what I'm trying to say in that case, if you're doing something like that. So however, if you're working with other people, it's like that's a whole different story, I think. Yeah. Then it's like, how much do you care about the code quality to sit and discuss how you want the code to be? Do you really, I don't know. Do you really want to spend a lot of time on that? It's like, just do the job, and if it gets super messy in the code, do some small refactorings and stuff. But yeah, I don't think you're getting a lot of sitting down and discussing like for hours, like how should we implement this and stuff like that. Anyway, I guess different. It depends I guess it depends on what kind of project you're doing and what stage you're in, and a whole bunch of different conditions and stuff. But anyway, it's all in a giant state of flux, I feel like. So let's see. What else are we doing here? What are we doing here? I got totally lost here. The attack hitbox, yeah, so we burrow the thing out of, yeah. So yeah, the damage on touch is disabled, that's true. Okay, I think the thing which is left to do here is when they come out, I think they cannot actually hit me now. No, because their hitbox shrunk, so the attack hitbox also shrunk because it's based on their hitbox. So it should not be that, it should be a separate thing. So if you go to all of these monsters, I think what we could do is we could say you could define a hitbox, an attack hitbox. It should probably be a function as well. Hitbox. Where do we have this? Probably here. Wait, we could just go here and then draw monster attack hitbox here. So this function calculates the attack hitbox. So what we could do is let's see, let me figure this out here, 1 second. Okay, so the way we calculate this is like it depends on the direction and stuff of the monster, the type of attack. Oh yeah. This is like very specific to the first monster, which is this. So this is we should actually move all this into the first monster almost, and then sort of figure out how we can copy this. So and modify it. So let's put this somewhere here. Let's just put it here at the end, I guess. And I think we'll just let's see. This is let's just do this as a self thing. So this will be this guy. Now we can call it like this is like self, but we don't use it, so we have to do underscore. Code quality equals code I am familiar with. Right. So you're saying that if you can read the code, that it has quality. Or that's the code that like reaches the quality that you can work with. Yeah, I mean there's so many different scenarios. It's like when I was less experienced, I worked with a project at the company, and I saw a lot of like inefficiencies and places where you could refactor stuff, and I started doing that. I started like refactoring things, but then it's like many of those places, it was like, okay, did it actually change much? No, was the answer to that in a lot of places. I mean, sometimes you would find things that were like, okay, we can just easily refactor this to make it infinitely better, but a lot of times it was like it was not worth the time and effort to do it, and in the end you may even get some sort of weird abstraction from it that didn't make sense. Maybe it only made sense to you, maybe in that moment, but then you go back to it in a couple of months or something and you see, what the hell is this? And yeah, I feel like when it comes to like refactoring stuff, finding patterns and abstractions and stuff, it's like you have to be really careful about what you're doing, because often you may actually make it less readable, even though in the moment you feel like, oh, I'm good, doing very nice things. But yeah, and also it's time out of your day to do something that may or may not end up in a good way. So I'm not saying that abstractions are bad, I'm just saying that you have to, I think that sometimes you can be sort of clouded by the idea that, oh, this would be a really good place for an abstraction, but then it's like, it's not really, it doesn't really make sense when you're done with it, or it's so complicated in the end that you were better off not doing it. Let's see. local constant. Oh, okay. So this is like this declaration actually shadows this, which is you can't do that. So well, I guess we could just return this. We don't need to name this thing. Okay, but here we can now, oh yeah, so we do have a self here because we can do this now. Okay. Right, and we don't get compilation errors here because we're not calling these functions. Now we're in that sort of generic place. So let's remove this. This is the thing that returns the hitbox. So we will now return, well, this would be like a switch. Actually, let's do this. So this would be, well, we need a monster type. Let's just do, let's do that. We don't need that. Let's do this. This is like sort of old code here, so it looks a bit different. Let's see, monster area type, and then we'll do inline else, and we get monster type there. And here we can actually do some weird shenanigans, but we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna return monster. I mean, we're just gonna do hitbox. Get attack hitbox. And we need body direction attack type. And this might differ by the different sort of types, and then we can specialize that when we get there, but for now I don't think we need to worry about that. But otherwise I think we just say unreachable here. And oops. Right. So now we have to, yeah, we can say this. And yeah, so now we have to implement this function in all of the different sort of places. So yeah, let's do that. We'll start with this one. So this will be called get attack hitbox, and we'll rename this as well. Get attack hitbox size, get offset. I mean, this should be the same for all of them, I guess. Yeah. This could be like a generic functionality actually, so we could, yeah, let's do this. Let's go back to monster here, and we can actually do this. Oops. So if we implement these two, we should get the correct thing. This, I mean, this should also depend on attack type. Okay. Right, and now it's complaining because we don't have these implemented. We can remove this. And we'll make this guy public. And we'll make you public, and we will also, I don't think, we don't need to do this like weird types here. We can just do this, and then we need the attack type, Okay, so before we actually didn't have a good way of specifying this type here. This is like very ridiculous. So we'll do this. All right. Okay. Let's grab the attack type there. Wait, we already have the attack type. Okay. Right, but we don't use it for this monster, so we can just not use that. Now we can copy this and paste it into our other monsters. This guy actually does not have an attack, so it's kind of weird that we need to define it here. Maybe we should just say that if they don't have this, we don't actually call it either. But then we could do also like this. So we could say we could specify the different types of monsters that should have attacks. So we'll say this guy and this guy, and we'll start with those. And you can, I think you can inline these. So we'll do that, and then otherwise we have, yeah, I mean otherwise we are, well, that's going to be unreachable, because if they don't have an attack, we won't even get here, because this function is only called when the monster is attacking. So yeah, and yeah, let's dereference these, and also this guy. Well, actually, we can change the type here instead. There. And now we get an error here. So this, now we can, instead of get, we do get const. We don't change anything here. So we just wanna read the hitbox. Okay, and now we, wait. No, this, no, this, okay, this part we actually want. Okay, so this guy actually needs to be, what's going on here? Oh yeah, okay, so now we get this. Now this monster needs to implement these functions. So let's copy these functions and go to Berling. Okay. Now we need to change this. All right. Right. So now we should be back to square one, so to speak, with the hitbox for the attacks. So let's enable the hitbox drawing so we can see how they look. But what we've done is enabled us to specify per monster how to do these things. So let's see, monster okay, so I'm getting, wait, where, oh, this is debug. Okay, so we don't have the AI here. There, let's do get const. Wait, what? This? Oh. It's like this, except You need to see references. Okay, there we go. All right. So we enable the the red lines you see is like the attack hitbox, and they still cannot actually hit me here. They should actually be hitting me. Okay. I don't know why they are actually not hitting me, because it looks like the collision is... If you look at the red lines, now that one doesn't hit me. Where's the other ones? There we go, that one hit me. But I think that was damage on touch. Okay, I'm not sure actually. Let's remove damage on touch just to be sure. So I think we'll do spawn variants. For all of these, we're gonna disable damage on touch. And wait, where do we set it to true? Here. Let's also disable that. Okay, so now that they don't have damage on touch. Let's see if they actually damage us here. Yeah, they do. I guess. Or do they? I mean, I think so. What else is gonna damage us, I guess? It's kind of hard to see which one is trying to attack me. Am I missing them all the time here? No? That one did not. What is happening? Maybe we should disable everyone except one. Yeah, there we go. No, that one didn't hit. Why is that not? Flash your hitbox red when they attack. Yeah, the red, you see the red line is where it's actually their attack. It's like, because the thing is when they burrow, that's also technically an attack that they are doing, but that's why you see the red line even though they're... So, okay. Let's actually do this. Let's go to debug and we'll say if this is burrow, then we don't do this, right? Yeah. So yeah, so now we are not showing the red thing when they are burrowing, because that's technically an attack. I should really rename that to like ability or something, but also I'm gonna just disable the burrow entirely so that we can properly test this. Let's do this. Let's do here, and we go to spawn variants, and I'm just gonna spawn the first one, and then we're gonna do should attack this one we are saying this now. So it cannot, now it can't burrow, and we only spawn one. So it's, wait, where is it? Wait, why did it burrow? Do I have to do this? Wait, false and, it should be and. Okay. Yeah, it's trying to attack me because I'm in melee attack range. Well, we need to modify that as well. Now you can see it's sort of the red line that's coming out. That's the attack hitbox. If I move closer, you can see I don't actually get attacked. So I think this might have to do with the shield mechanic, but it's strange because the shield should not block that. It should actually check the shield like hitbox against the attack hitbox. So maybe it's not the shield. Where do we do this? I think monster and attack. Whoops. And here we have should end attack. So if we should end the attack ends. Otherwise we are hurting the player if we have hurts at and stuff. Yeah, which I think we should have for, yeah, we have that, I think, I'm pretty sure. And then it says damage if in attack hitbox, which also, yeah, returns true if the player was hit or blocked the attack. So yeah, we're checking for all intersections of this hitbox, which is the monster attack hitbox. So we're getting that hitbox. It's the same as the red hitbox that you see. We're getting all intersections of all bodies, and we're going through that, and we're checking if one of them is the player, and then we check if the player direction is not the same, which is like you're facing the monster and the monster faces you. So you can block in this case. But here we get the shield hitbox, which is the yellow you can see the yellow square there. And it just checks if the hitbox intersects with the shield, then you have a shield block. Otherwise we don't have a shield block. So wait, but then there's an else here. Did I mess this up before? Everything's so small, probably just running into problems where my enemy was scaled up a bit. Yeah, maybe. I think this is, although this specific issue is related here to this part, because I think I changed this when I tried to like refactor some stuff, and I think I messed this logic up here. So this is saying basically if the direction of the player is not equal to the direction of the monster, which means they're facing each other or facing away from each other, then we check for hitbox, but otherwise we hurt. But if the shield did not block, we should also hurt. So this should really be this. Wait, no, this, yeah. And then this is not an else. Yeah. So if this doesn't result in a block, then we hurt the thing. Okay. Yeah, the direction is always like it's like this horizontal direction is like left or right. Here, it's at E now, left or right. So it's like very easy to check. Like, is it? This is like, is it opposite? Okay, so now I think it should probably work here. Yeah. I can also see. Wait, where did that thing go? Okay. It's like it didn't show the attack hitbox there. Is something blocking it? Oh, because it disappears once it's like consumed, I think. And here you can see the shield block works here. If I stand up, yeah, I get hit. Okay. So that works. Now we just need to modify the actual hitbox. So we'll go back here. So I think that both the offset and the size is a bit wrong. We don't need to know the attack type either. This guy can only do one attack type. So we're only gonna have this. And we'll just say, let's use, I don't know, the distance. I mean, we could do height, maybe like this. This game feels like an Amiga game I used to play when I was a kid. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get this sort of 8-bit feel. I'm not sure actually. I mean, the sort of art direction and sound effects and everything is like. Well, I wanted a more maybe Nintendo 8-bit feel, but it's maybe this sort of weird amalgam now. The sound effects sound way older because I'm not a sound effect guy, so the sound effect that I make for this game is like not really high quality, so it's it may sound like a very early type stuff, but I think, yeah, I'm definitely going to go back to the sound effects and change those, and maybe I think probably also the graphics is gonna change, but I'm trying to focus more on sort of the gameplay and just being productive and getting the gameplay to be good. I don't hate it, very nostalgic. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's good feedback. Yeah, I did the graphics. I've done basically done everything here. But it's always like from the beginning I wasn't sure, is it gonna be this type of graphics or is it gonna be like more high definition, or what type of game is gonna be. So it's been very the journey has been like very open from the beginning, and it's still open in that case. It might change in the future, I'm not sure, or I might keep this style and this graphics, but I think at least I want to improve the graphics a little bit if it's gonna get sort of released. It's not even I don't even know if it's gonna be sort of released like on Steam or whatever. We'll see. Depends on how like much I can do it. If I can keep the motivation up, and but really streaming and putting stuff up on YouTube and stuff really helps. with the motivation for completing the project. I think that's just it's just a case of just pushing through it and doing the things. Honestly, maybe quick grab an asset pack, something with range animation will open up your options for the states you can do. I mean, yeah, that could be one thing. I've thought about that, but then again, I also want to improve my sort of pixel art skills, so this has also been an opportunity for that. If you have motivation problems, you can't really power through that. You have to work with it. I don't know. For me, it feels like you can always lose motivation. I mean, I've been programming for, I don't know. I've been loving programming for like, I mean, how long? 30 years. So, and all the projects that I've started has been like, I've lost motivation because maybe I stumbled onto a problem that I found hard to solve, and then I lost a bunch of motivation from that, and then I took a pause from the project, and then maybe you get new ideas about other stuff that you can do, and you start to work on that. So you kind of learn along the way to what is it? Well, you do a little, you get experience in sort of how hard it is to actually make something. But I feel like this project, I haven't had a hard time being motivated in the same sense, since I'm getting motivation from doing this as a stream as well, and getting like feedback on the programming videos and stuff. So that has been a very nice motivation to actually do a project. So my motivation is like this: I want to complete a project, but I've never set the ambition level to be like, I'm gonna make this complete giant sort of game. It might grow into that, but it's always like up to chance, or up in the air if it's gonna be that. So I'm continuing to work on the game as long as I feel like I want to do it, of course. But it's like it feels halfway as a hobby now and fun, and halfway sometimes it feels a little bit like a job, because I want to still continue to work on it. I want to make it into a real game in the end, but I don't set this as like 100% ambition goal. I have a goal that I set a little bit ahead, and then I move the goalpost, ahead of myself all the time. So I think that's a sort of a method that I'm using to keep the motivation and keeping it fresh, and yeah, trying to, and that's what I mean by kind of powering through it. It's like I don't want to lose the feeling of it being fun either. I want to make a game that I feel is fun to play. Also, it's a huge thing with it. So if you can keep motivation for 2 weeks on one project and aim to be finished in 2 weeks. Okay, I mean, I guess. But how would you make a large project then? I mean, how would you make a game that is like very like a large game? How would you know if you can keep up the motivation, I guess, is the question. It's way easier to come back to a project in a finished state than one in a half finished state. Yeah, I guess. Also, that's one thing that I've found is once you've like it's always like this.
you start a new project and you have all these ideas, and that's when you have you have a very high motivation. You start out and you are very productive, and then you sort of come into this zone where it gets a little bit more difficult as the project grows, and then you kind of lose a little bit of speed and motivation because it's getting harder, so it's not as fun anymore. And then you might bump into some hurdles and you might lose motivation even more, and then you might even give up because you feel like it's not fun anymore, and then you do something else. But I feel like once I've done a project and then reach a certain point where I can see, oh, it's actually growing, I'm actually building something